This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, 250 plus markets across the United States of America, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 80. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Got a jam-packed show coming your way today. Got a lot of stuff on my mind, including a little jab that I need to take at my colleague. A little jab that I need to take at one of my colleagues. And I'm not going to hold back because, damn it, he needs to toughen up. Plain and simple. I'll tell you who I'm talking about in just a few minutes. But before then, let me say this. The NBA essentially has announced, or according to ESPN and the New York Times, Mark Stein of the New York Times, the NBA's lineup, Christmas Day, has come out. And we're going to start off the day at noon with the New York Knicks going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. At 8 p.m. Eastern time that night, the Lakers, led by LeBron James, will head to the Oracle to go up against the two-time reigning defending NBA champion, Golden State Warriors, who've won three of the last four NBA finals, all against LeBron James. Let me state for the record, I got a problem with both. First of all, I want to be very, very clear. The New York Knicks have no business on national television. Damn it, somebody has to say it, so I'm going to do it. Now, I'm happy that Steve Mills is running the show. Thank God. I believe in Scott Perry. I like Greg Robinson. And even though David Fizdale wasn't my choice, damn it, he was my second. And I believe he's going to do a hell of a job. The only reason I didn't have him as my first choice is because this man, James Dolan, is a different kind of animal. So much so dysfunctional is the business of Madison Square Garden, albeit profitable, that because of it, I didn't believe that the New York Knicks needed just a basketball coach. I thought they needed a culture changer. But in fairness to David Fizdale, it ain't like he can't do the job. He's already been to Latvia with Kristaps Porzingis. Kevin Knox looks like he's got a lot of promise. Fizdale can clearly coach. Scott Perry's been around a long time, ingratiating himself with NBA folks, and he knows talent. And Steve Mills is a damn fine executive that I think is going to do a good job. But the New York Knicks stink. And with Porzingis expected to be out, they're going to continue to stink. Only thing we have to look forward to is the development of Kevin Knox and whoever the orthopedic surgeon is that's going to give Porzingis the okay to come back and play. That's all you got to look forward to. That should not contaminate Christmas Day. Period. It's unnecessary. And by the way, I don't like games at the Garden at 12 noon anyway. This is New York. It's prime time, baby. The bright lights of Broadway. We ain't down with those 12 noon afternoon games. Somebody needs to tell the NBA office this. So I'm going to do it for you. The Greek Freak at the Garden, dunking on Tim Hardaway Jr. again. All right, fine. But damn it, it shouldn't need to be on Christmas Day. Period. So I'm upset at the NBA about that. Here's the other thing I'm upset about. LeBron James and the Lakers showing up to the Oracle. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to state it for the record right now. Lakers getting blown out. I think the Lakers going to lose by 30 on Christmas Day. I hope I'm wrong. I truly, truly do. I hope Rajon Rondo suddenly finds a jump shot. I hope that Lance Stevenson is able to be disciplined because, after all, LeBron James is his teammate now. He doesn't have to blow in his ear because he's an opponent anymore. I hope JaVale McGee doesn't make a Shaq and a fool highlight reel. Michael Beasley, I like this guy. I don't understand why he's been all over the place. but I like them. If the game were at the Staples Center in Southern California, I'd love this. But in those hostile confines at the Oracle on Christmas Day, with the players already annoyed at the fact that they got to play on Christmas Day, I think they're going to blow LeBron James and the Lakers out of the building. I think the Lakers at that particular moment in time will still be trying to figure things out, how things are going to work, et cetera, and I think they're going to get blown out of the building. That doesn't mean to say that they're not going to be more competitive later. That doesn't mean to say they're not going to beat the Warriors in a regular season game at some point. It doesn't mean to say that they're going to have a subpar season. I think the Lakers going to win 50-plus games. I think they're definitely getting to the Western Conference semifinals. And it's my bet that they're going to meet the Warriors in the conference finals. Unless Melo has a resurrection and end up in Houston. Doing his thing. He is in Houston. But I'm talking about end up doing his thing. The kind of thing we were accustomed to seeing from him once upon a time. It should be Houston and the Warriors again, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if LeBron James is able to propel these Lakers to the conference finals. I'm not assuming the Lakers are not going to be successful. I'm assuming they will be. Just not Christmas Day. Now y'all know Stevie A love the kids. He sure does. And it's very important to understand that people want to be at home with their families and their kids, watching the kids open Christmas gifts. Because you know when you're the adult, you Santa Claus. So you giving, you ain't getting much. But it don't matter when you got love in your life, particularly when it comes to those beautiful little kids that all of us have, most of us have. You ain't trying to see no blowout. So I don't think the NBA messed up with the matchup. I think the NBA messed up by having LeBron and them go to the Oracle instead of the Warriors coming to the Staples Center. I think that's a recipe for disaster. It's an ABC game, primetime, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Christmas Day. Good luck to LeBron and Ingram and Kuzma and Lonzo Ball and Rondo and Beasley and Lance Stevenson and JaVale McGee. But I think on this particular day, they're going to get blown out of Northern California. Going to get ran right out of there. That's what I believe. 888. Say ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. That's one of the things on my mind. Here's another. Aaron Rodgers. That bad man that he is, the greatest quarterback that I've ever seen, from a talent perspective, the greatest I've ever seen, did not have a good day yesterday. He was quite perturbed at his team, and it made national news. He took the liberty of criticizing his young receivers. Didn't have too much patience for them yesterday. He was quite disturbed and taken aback and disgusted with the level of production or lack thereof he was seeing from them on this particular day. And he did not hide his feelings one bit. This is Aaron Rodgers talking about these young receivers with the Green Bay Packers. Listen to this.
It was one of the worst carded sessions we've had. I don't know how you can make it any simpler. We literally have what the play would be in our terminology on the card. And the effort level is very low, especially what I'm accustomed to having run that period for a number of years. So it's not a good start for us on the carded period for the young guys. You know, I think the NC has really progressed. Gmo, obviously 16. But everybody else was kind of poor.
Why do you think that was? Any reason why the effort was so low?
I think we're tired. No, I really do. I think guys are a little gassed from the last couple of days of coming down from Saturday night. And when you're a little gassed, the mental part of it starts to go, the focus goes away, and There wasn't the same energy at practice. And obviously, I got to do a better job of bringing that when I feel it. But we got to pick each other up and be a little sharper.
Let me be very, very clear about what I'm about to say, because I want to make sure that there's no question, there's no ambiguity with what I'm about to say. I believe that if Aaron Rodgers went to the toilet, one of those damn receivers should be there to pass him some toilet paper. That's how adamant I am about this. These puppies, receivers, the notion that Aaron Rodgers shouldn't be calling them out, y'all better wake up and smell something. Get your senses right. Aaron Rodgers, despite just one Super Bowl, is unquestionably one of, if not the greatest quarterback we've ever seen in the history of football as a talent. Accomplishments? No. Tom Brady has that. Joe Montana has that. Terry Bradshaw has that. We get all of that. As a talent, I would challenge anybody to tell me that they have seen somebody better than Aaron Rodgers. His ability to fling that football on the run to his left, on the run to his right, dropping back in the pocket, standing in the pocket, throwing off balance, throwing with his feet planted. It don't matter. As a quarterback, with his mobility, with his arm strength, with his accuracy, with his daredevil tendencies, his willingness to take chances, this brother is the greatest quarterback as a talent I have ever seen in all my years of watching football. And the Green Bay Packers have mistreated him time and time again. Then you go and you let go of Jordy Nelson, his most reliable weapon. Devontae Adams is still there. Had 2 concussions last year. He can ball, but he had 2 concussions last year. Randall Cobb is still there, but he's aging. Geronimo Allison is still there, but come on now. At your running back spot, you got Jamal Williams. We don't know what he's going to be able to do. He averaged less than 4 yards a carry with his 153 carries from last year. You got Aaron Jones. You can brag about his 5.5 yards per carry on his 81 chances. But keep in mind that 6 times he ran for over 20 yards. So that statistic can be deceiving. What's undeniable is this. When Aaron Rodgers is healthy, the Green Bay Packers are contenders. When he's not, they're nothing. For 8 straight years in Aaron Rodgers' career, with him at the quarterback spot, other than the first year he was the quarterback when he went 6-10, Aaron Rodgers has taken the Green Bay Packers to the playoffs every year. He's taken them to the conference finals 3 times. He's won a Super Bowl. And his numbers in the meantime are off the chart. The man is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. He's a bad man. And to have somebody this gifted talking about your effort, man's 34 years old, turns 35 December 2nd. And you look at these numbers and what he delivers. 313 touchdowns for his career with just 78 interceptions. Only 2 times in his 10 years as a starter has he thrown interceptions in the double digits. The most interceptions he's ever thrown in any season was 13. And that was his first year when he went 6-10. Other than that, he threw 11 interceptions in 15 games in 2010. The brother is special. And you have receivers with this blessing, knowing that you get to play with him. You have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to put him in a position where he's able to look at you and question your effort. Not your skill, not your knowledge, not your willingness or inability or ability or lack thereof to know the playbook, your effort. You're puppies, breath smelling like Similac, wet behind the ears. All you got is your energy based on your youth, and you can't give them that? I wouldn't blame Aaron Rodgers if he had went off longer and harder. It's disgraceful. It cannot be tolerated. And he was right to call them out. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. One other item involving Aaron Rodgers. And that was his position about President Trump. Basically saying that LeBron James knows that his contemporaries and everybody sides with him, that the league itself should ignore the President of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, I'm tired of that. It is time for all of us to wake up and put on our big boy pants. That includes my man, my partner on First Take in the morning every weekday from 10 a.m. to noon on ESPN First Take, my man Max Kellerman. Everybody needs to grow the hell up and wake up when it comes to this president. He's the president of the United States. I don't want to hear about, there were more votes for Hillary Rodham Clinton than him. I don't want to hear that. There's an electoral college vote for a reason that comes into place. He's the president of the United States. Last time I checked, when taxes dropped, he was the president. When tariffs were presented to be imposed, he was the president. When other issues were tackled, it's been on his watch. Now you can agree or disagree or whatever, grow the hell up. And even to those who want to make the argument that he himself tried to delegitimize his predecessor, that don't take away his legitimacy based on his position. Any more than it took away Barack Obama's legitimacy when he was the president. This is America. Grow up and appreciate the fact that, it is what it is. And put on your big boy and big girl pants and call it a day. You don't get to ignore who the president is and isn't based on your emotion. Facts are facts. And this notion that the NFL should just ignore him, well, excuse me, go ahead and be a fool if you want to. What the NFL and the NFL players should do when it comes to the president of the United States is take a uniformed position, whatever it may be. That's what they should do. Be one voice. Stand together as one in an effort to protect the shield. So if he speaks against the shield in any way, you speak up for yourself collectively as one unit. That's what should be done. But ignoring them ain't gonna cut the mustard. I told everybody before what's going on with these owners, why they're scared to death of President Trump. I tried to tell you. When Barack Obama was in office, the Milwaukee Bucks were trying to build a new arena. They were in the process of building a new arena, rather. The St. Louis Rams wanted a new arena, which is why they ultimately ended up departing for L.A. And that's just a couple that comes to my mind. At that time, President Barack Obama, through one of his budget proposals, had tried to stipulate within the proposal eradicating the use of U.S. Treasury funds to help finance stadiums and arenas. Because according to what I read, the belief is that public funding shouldn't be exorbitant if used at all for new arenas. Well, what does that tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What that tells you is that the president has the power to influence whether or not public funds can be used to finance stadiums and arenas for teams in their respective sports. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a National Football League where each owner got $255 million. They got a $255 million check because revenue was up 4.9%. Even with all the controversy from Colin Kaepernick dating back to last season. They still were up 4.9% and still got checks for $255 million. Every one of them. And still, they walked around like a bunch of petrified puppies at every word that the president uttered because of his constituency and because of their potential unwillingness to patronize the NFL product over the whole national anthem issue. They got $255 million and still walked around like a bunch of petrified puppies. Can you imagine how they would be if President Trump somehow decided that public funding will not be allowed to finance stadiums and arenas? You know how much money that would cost the owners? And if they're worried about money when they're making money, could you imagine how they would be at the potential of losing money? That is why they don't speak up. That is why some of them take his side. Because cash talks. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. So wake up and deal with it. And grow up. The president of the United States of America doesn't get to not be the president because you don't like him. Not when the presidential election ain't here. He's the president of the United States until otherwise. If you can't respect him, at least respect the office. You don't get to ignore him. Not when so much is at stake. You have to stand up and challenge him on the issues, devoid of the name calling, or bow down and just accept it. Whatever he's going to throw in your direction. But ignoring him, that ain't going to work, Aaron Rodgers. Not with this president. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. That was Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. 888-SAY-ESPN. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. 888-SAY-ESPN. Tune in. Don't touch that dial. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Craving even more of Stephen A?
Him of all people.
For around-the-clock access to the man?
I'm Stephen A.
You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Stephen A. Smith and on Facebook at Stephen A.
Ow. Yep, you guessed it. I'm a speed bump, so I've got one job. I slow you down. So imagine how I feel about Geico, who does way more. Like, not only could they save you money on car insurance, but they've been around for over 75 years, giving people fast and friendly claim service. Ow. Plus, they got a nifty mobile app that gives you 24/7 access. Ow. Just doing my job, buddy.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
You know, I'm upset right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm upset at my colleague, Michael Kay. I've got a beef with him right now. For those of you who don't know, throughout this country, Michael Kay is not only the afternoon drive host on ESPN New York in New York City, and he's been that for a decade, but he's also the outstanding Hall of Fame caliber announcer and voice for the New York Yankees, for the Yes Network. Michael Kay's forgotten more baseball than most know. Michael Kay is a good man, a friend of mine. I love him. And that's why I can get on him, because he knows this is coming from a good place. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Michael Kay done got soft. I think he's going to get a little bit soft on me. And Now, I usually would rely upon my man Don Juan LaGreca to toughen him up. But since clearly that hasn't worked, I got to get Michael K. tough again. You know, sometimes, I mean, listen, when you've overachieved by having an absolutely beautiful, gorgeous wife and, you know, beautiful kids and all of that stuff, sometimes you get soft. And maybe that's what this is. Maybe that's the problem with Don Juan LaGreca, who's been blessed with the same things in terms of the wife and the kids. Maybe that's why they both soft right now, coming across a little bit soft. I don't know. But I could not believe what I saw the other day. My man Michael K. is talking about this dude, Clint Frazier, some 23-year-old puppy in Major League Baseball. He's only had 41 at-bats, only has a hit. Drafted as a first rounder in 2013 by the Cleveland Indians, spent some years in the minors. He's with the Yankees right now. Tremendous promise. We believe in him. We wish him well, but he's had to suffer with some injuries. Most notably, most recently, a concussion. And Michael K., speaking supposedly facetiously, gives these initial comments on Frazier. Listen to this.
I think that the whole thing started as a little pebble, turned into a snowball, and has gone into an avalanche. I mean, if you look at their record this year with Aaron Judge out of the lineup, it's under 500. He's an important part of what they do. Oh. I thought Stanton did okay during the weekend and all that, but, I mean, when you're playing Luke Voit and Shane Robinson in important games, you know, shame on the Yankees for not having the depth, but again, shame on guys like Jacoby Ellsbury for not getting healthy. Shame on Clint Frazier for not getting healthy. But again, you can't make them get healthy, but if those guys are available, it's a completely different animal.
That's what he said. That's all he said. Shame on those guys for not getting healthy. Well, that provoked Clint Frazier to tweet at Michael K. and say, facetious or not, because Michael K. said he was being facetious, of course, because obviously somebody can't control when they're injured. I thought everybody would know that. I think that's a foregone conclusion. No one can control when they're not healthy. I mean, if you suffer from a concussion, you suffer from concussion. It's not like Michael K. accused the man of faking it. But nevertheless, Clint Frazier decides to go on the air. And he says facetious or not, quote, I'm sorry, Twitter rather. He says facetious or not, real Michael K. I don't appreciate what you said today. I'm doing everything I can to get healthy so I can play symptom-free. So steer clear of publicly calling me out for or not when we haven't even had one conversation about my concussion this year. First of all, why the hell are you paying attention to what Michael K.'s saying? Shouldn't you be getting healthy? Why are you paying attention to what Michael K. is saying? It's not like he went on some rant talking about you and your family. You're a baseball player. Your skills could be used at a time when the Yankees were on the verge of getting swept by the Boston Red Sox in a 4-game series. Maybe if you were healthy, maybe if you could produce, maybe the loss of Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez wouldn't be that profound. That's not insulting Clint Frazier. That's complimenting him. It's saying he's needed. And that was point number 2. But back to point number 1. Why do you have time to be listening to Michael K? And who the hell do you think you are? Talking about keep his name out of his mouth. He does it for a living. If he was talking about you in glowing fashion, would you have tweeted him and told him to stay out of you and not talk about you? If you were smacking home runs all over the place, would you be telling Michael K not to talk about you? If you were relevant because you were healthy, would you be telling Michael K not to talk about you? And why does Michael K have to have a conversation with you about your concussion? You're concussed. If ever there was a reason not to talk to you, that would be it. What's the problem? I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, y'all got to call these people out. I don't want to hear nothing about the media. I don't want to hear anything about it. I mean, you talk about people just being soft mentally and emotionally. You got to be able to take this stuff. That's what playing with the big boys is all about. But as much as I'm getting on Clint Frazier, my real problem's with Michael K. Listen to him explain things the following day.
people that have listened to the show for a long period of time, or even not even long, just this year, knows that I have been, staunch in my defense of Clint Frazier. And anybody that has questioned the veracity of his injury, I've said, listen, you can't get inside somebody's head, especially when it's in a head injury. And for those that don't know what we're talking about and don't follow Twitter, I said yesterday, and really it's my fault, and I apologize for a bad choice of words, but I was just being facetious/sarcastic when I was talking about the Yankees starting Shane Robinson in the outfield. I said, shame on Jacoby Ellsbury and shame on Clint Frazier for not getting better, meaning obviously I meant that they're not here. It's a shame that they're not here. And I said shame on thinking that people would obviously understand the words, but, diarrhea of the mouth, I messed up. I certainly apologize to Clint Frazier on Twitter because he was the one who put it out there saying, you shouldn't question me, and I can't be angry at him because if you didn't know, the history of what I had said about him, you would think that that's what I meant, that I was questioning it.
I don't even understand why Michael K. going on the feeling need to explain himself. You're a radio host. You're a television commentator and the voice of the New York Yankees. Enough said. Clint Frazier, you're a puppy. You're 23 years old. Back the hell up. Get healthy and get out on the field. I promise you when you ball out, nobody will praise you more than Michael K. Michael K., what you doing, baby? What you doing? Explain to him? For what? For what? Y'all better than me. That's all I'm going to say. Michael K. is better, actually. He's been doing this for a long time. Can't deny that. But come on. I mean, if you got to go out your way to explain something to Clint Frazier, you ain't going to have time to do a radio show no more with as much explaining you going to have to do. I mean, damn, is this Clint Frazier or Mike Trout? You got to be kidding me. But that's just me. That's just me. By the way, K's apology. Next time I make light of someone's injury will be the first time I should have said how unfortunate you and Ellsbury injuries are. It came out in a clumsy way. If you took it the wrong way, I apologize and look forward to speaking with you personally. All right. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Back with the calls in a minute. You're listening live to Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Look, you can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, you look at the Dodgers right now with acquiring Manny Machado. Look, they're in a race with Arizona right now in the NL West. They could win. They could get back to the World Series. But for some reason, they're missing something. I will say this, though. Last season was too perfect, which is why they ended up losing to the Astros in Game 7. And by the way, decided to put Yu Darvish on the mound because you knew this is a done deal. I knew he was a joke. I knew he wouldn't get it done, and I knew he's going to fold like a cheap tent once he got to Chicago as well. But the Dodgers might be struggling this season, and they might make a run in the postseason. We never know. We never know. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Olivier. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up?
Hey, Stephen. For many of us, it's not a question of putting on our big boy pants. For many of us, with our big boy pants on, we have the right to ignore or embrace whomever we like or dislike.
Stop right there. Hold on. Stop right there. Make another point because everyone knows we all have the right. Nobody's disputing that. What's your other point?
But you started the show saying, put your big bad point.
No. I agree with that. I'm just saying, but I didn't say you didn't have the right. I made a suggestion, but I didn't say you have the right. I never would argue about your right to do it.
The other point is, this man, before he was even in office, was making a mockery and a buffoonery of the office on both parties, Republican, Democrat. He has no respect for the office. And still, and if you listen to all these tweets or whatever he does, you would never know that was coming from the White House.
Time out. I don't disagree with that. My point to you is this, though. You still have to deal with someone sitting in that position.
No, you don't.
How?
You just pay your taxes, do right by the law.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. And you know, obviously you wait till you go to the voting poll. I'm saying if you're the NFL players, you really think it's going to benefit them to ignore him?
Yes, absolutely.
How?
Play football. Deal with your organization. That's it.
But let me say this. So in other words, do you think saying nothing is going to benefit them as it pertains to their patrons?
What do you mean by saying nothing?
In other words, whatever he says. Well, I'm speaking hypothetically here, sir, because I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, Olivia. What I'm saying to you is speaking hypothetically. Let's say, for example, he starts attacking them again over the national anthem issue. Do you really think ignoring him is going to benefit them?
No, that's not the ignoring that I meant.
Well, that's why I said be specific. That's why I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's why I was challenging you to be more specific, because I'm saying just taking our general position, which is what Aaron Rodgers was saying, just ignoring him across the board. I'm saying it doesn't work with someone in his position.
But Aaron, he threw the shot across the bow before he decided to ignore. He said his part, and then he decided to ignore. So it's kind of a little contradictory there.
Okay.
You can't say what you're going to say and then say, well, ignore him.
Right.
And so I agree with him saying what he said. You know,
okay, but I guess what I'm saying is you agree with him because he already said his piece. I'm saying to you that the way he came across was of the mindset that no matter what this individual does, ignore him. And I'm saying you don't get to ignore the president of the United States because his actions impact you. So to ignore it would be to your detriment in most, not all, but in most situations. That's all I'm saying, Olivier.
Okay, well, in that sense, yes. Yes, technically you're right in that sense. He can do this. He can pass a bill. He can allow for this to happen at a stadium or whatever.
Yes.
So, yes. But in terms of the racial and the stupid remarks to Don Lemon and all that stuff,
you can ignore that.
That's idiocy. That's no respect in the office. Nobody in the office, no real dignified president in the office would be doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the bottom line is, all I was saying is, you don't get to ignore somebody and try to delegitimize them and think that that works when a person is holding that office. It doesn't work that way. There were people when Barack Obama was in office that were adamantly against him. But you couldn't ignore him because the things that he wanted implemented and instituted were things that would dramatically affect and alter other folks' lives. And you couldn't get away from that. You don't get to ignore the president of the United States in America because he's the president of the United States. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. We'll get more into some football action. Got a lot of stuff on my mind involving Aaron Rodgers and then some. Stick around. It's Stephen A. Hour number 2 up next.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Back. Hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show here with you over the airwaves of ESPN Radio. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Couple of other stories that I wanted to get to, okay, because there's a couple of things that you all need to know about. The NCAA has announced it's implementing several recommendations in regards to players, according to Jeff Goodman. Players can be repped by agents. Agents must be certified by an NCAA program. Players can be eligible for NBA draft and return to school if undrafted. The designation, however, pertains to elite players, and those elite players are players determined to be elite by USA Basketball. So USA Basketball decides whether a player is elite or not. And based on that elite stature, the NCAA thus grants those elite players this kind of opportunity. Let me say this. I'm not satisfied. Fact remains that the NCAA could do a hell of a lot more to appease the student athletes. I call for representation of all players, of all student athletes. They don't have a union. They don't have player representation. And there's nobody to protect the interest of these kids who are clearly being taken advantage of by adults running the NCAA. The walking hypocrites that they religiously are. The kids have no shield from them. None. And I think something needs to be done about it. This is not enough. Is it a step in the right direction? Sure. Who cares? We always say that about the NCAA. They're miles behind everybody else in years, and they crawl a step or two, and we say they're making progress. Damn that. Damn that. I'm sick of them. They need to do more, and they should be doing more for these student athletes. Some kind of stipend, something to subsidize themselves so they don't have to go out and sell sneakers in order to have some extra cash in their pocket, getting themselves suspended along the way, even though those students at North Carolina should not have sold those Jordan shoes. So I just say, you know what? It's more of the same with the NCAA. What, they want a cookie because they're taking a step in the right direction? I say investigate their books. I say monitor their bank accounts. See how much money they're generating for themselves off of the back of these kids. And then go from there. That's number one. Number two, I got to say this, ladies and gentlemen. The Boston Red Sox look very, very scary. I don't know if first of all, Yankees ain't catching them for the regular season. I don't know if the Yankees would beat them in the postseason. They're making me very, very scared. With Porcello and Sale, with Martinez, with Betts, with Benintendi, and these guys, Benintendi rather. I mean, look, I'm very, very worried. Boston is a well-oiled machine. They won their 80th game last night. They're just doing it. And like I feared, that's why I said the Yankees ain't going to catch them. Because the Yankees being 9.5 games back, you not only got to win, Boston's got to lose. And even though you play Boston 6 more times, you still got to gain 3.5 games outside of that. And who here believes that Boston would lose to the Yankees in a best-of-7 series right now? Who believes that? Because I don't. I don't, not at all. I want to be very, 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 very clear about what I'm saying. I don't believe that one damn bit. Just so everybody understands. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. I want to get back to these Christmas Day games for a couple more items. Number one, outside of the Knicks playing Milwaukee and the Lakers playing Golden State, the Jazz and the Blazers play Christmas night in Utah. That's the nightcapper. Houston plays OKC. So that would be Melo going against his old team now in Houston. In OKC. Now that he's left Russell Westbrook and Paul George. And last but not least, you got Boston and Philadelphia. Look, I know a lot of people get excited about the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not. They can't mess with Boston. Joel Embiid got to learn to play better with his back to the basket, which I'm confident he will do. Ben Simmons has to develop a jump shot. I'm not that confident he will for next season. You kept J.J. Redick. That's nice. Bellinelli left you. Covington's still there. I get it. But the fact is, I don't think the Sixers have enough to compete with Boston when all is said and done. I think they'd get bounced out in 5 games if they play Boston in the playoffs again anyway. I'm not that confident in them, period. I just don't feel that way. So we'll see what happens. You know what the other thing that bothers me about Christmas Day? How the hell are the Toronto Raptors the number 1 seed, having won 59 games last year? They're the only team in Canada. They were the number 1 seed, the best team with the best record in the entire Eastern Conference. They are a legitimate title contender, and that was before they acquired Kawhi Leonard, a top 3 player in the NBA when healthy. And you don't have the Toronto Raptors even on a Christmas Day schedule. That's ridiculous. I got to admit, that's ridiculous. But I just wanted to point that out. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Let's go back to the phones. Gerald, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Good day, Mr. Stephen A.
How are you?
Good. You're feeling good today because my blood pressure's a little bit up because your blood pressure is down. Because when your blood pressure is up, my blood pressure is down because I love to see you going off.
All right.
The NBA, as you started out the segments today, you mentioned Golden State versus LA. You were correct. It should be in LA, not up in Golden State. You also mentioned Giannis going up against the Knicks, the two biggest media markets in the country. You and I would both admit, LA and New York.
Go ahead.
Would that be okay? And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to promote the West. The West is supposed to be the best. You know, I'm from the Midwest, okay? They have the Midwest covered with Giannis. Now they have the West with LeBron James, and you're always keeping up the East because you're from New York. I think that the NBA is doing a great job of promoting things.
I don't know how it's me keeping up the East when I'm the one that says the New York Knicks shouldn't be on national TV.
Oh, it's because you don't like dumb Dan Dolan and you don't like dumb Dan Gilbert, and I'm in the same camp that you are in.
Well, I don't dislike them. I don't have anything against them. They haven't done anything to me. I'm saying that the New York Knicks are not very good this year. It's not like Porzingis is in this lineup. It's not like Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving has arrived here, like at least one of them is expected to do next summer. It's not as if Kevin Knox has proven himself. We liked what we saw in the summer league, but this is the NBA we're talking about here. There's no reason for us. We have no definitive evidence that the New York Knicks are going to be relevant enough for us to watch on Christmas Day.
Well, that's for us to be the judge of and for us to see how it plays out.
Well, you could talk about that. I don't think certain things need to be seen how to play out. I know what Houston's going to be. I know what LA's going to be to some degree. I know what Golden State's going to be. I know what Boston's going to be. I know what Utah's going to be. I know what Portland's going to be. I know what OKC is going to be with Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
But I also boring, know Steven?
It's not boring. What's boring is watching a team that's not good receive national pub like they deserve it, and they don't.
It's in that big media market, and you and I both know how that works. Another point I wanted to touch on
Hurry
is how
up.
LeBron
Go ahead.
James,
Go ahead.
It's how LeBron James hasn't intentionally made Michael Jordan look like a buffoon over all these years by the way that LeBron conducts his life. He builds schools, not prisons. And Trump does back a guy like Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's only been about Michael Jordan, whereas LeBron has been about all the people. That's why the league is so good. It's because of LeBron James. I hate to say it, but
that's a personal opinion. I don't happen to subscribe to that with Michael Jordan because I think Michael Jordan does a lot of things behind the scenes. I just think that Michael Jordan is not very, very comfortable taking social and political stances publicly. That's never been his way. That's not who he is because he's not as comfortable in doing so as some other athletes. And I don't think it's a crime for him to be that way. But I appreciate the call. Thanks a lot. And I respect your opinion. Chris, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A., long-time listener. Finally got on.
Thank you, man. Go ahead.
I just wanted to, 2 points, two of your opinions. One about Carmelo. I'm a long-time Carmelo Anthony fan. I know it's his downfall. He's getting older. But I just wanted your opinion about, how you think he's going to do over there in Houston.
Well, I think Carmelo Anthony is going to be better off in Houston than he ever was in OKC. Russell Westbrook is electrifying. He is a superstar, and he never cheats you with his effort. And I think OKC may actually end up being better without Carmelo because I don't think it's as easy for Russell Westbrook or was as easy for Russell Westbrook as it will be for CP3 to indoctrinate and include Carmelo Anthony into the equation in Houston. Russell Westbrook is a scorer who happens to play the point guard spot. But being a true point guard, no, he doesn't run a team the way Chris Paul runs a team. And I think that Carmelo Anthony is going to benefit exponentially more with Chris Paul than he ever was going to with Russell Westbrook. That is my belief. All right? Thanks a lot, man.
One more thing, man.
Hurry up. Go ahead.
Now, I lost my father a couple years ago. You know, I got a big family. Me and him are the only diehard Giants fans. And he's been waiting a long time for a running back with me. How do you think Saquon's going to pull it off here?
I don't know. I know he's strong. I know he's powerful. I know he's 233 pounds. I get all of that. I got to wait and see because so much depends on that Giants offensive line. And if that offensive line doesn't do a good job of run blocking for him and pass protecting for Eli Manning, then they're not going to be the same. They're just not going to be the same. All right, let me take that back. They will be the same as they were last year, which wasn't very good. So that's where I'm coming from with it. But I do believe that Saquon Barkley is highly skilled. And I do believe that his pass catching ability is going to come into play significantly. And I do like the thoughts of what he can do because I think that he brings that special oomph to the table that can't be ignored. I just hope he doesn't end up being one of those undersized running backs. Remember, he averaged less in yards per rush than the Leonard Fournettes of the world. People like that. Or Ezekiel Elliott when he was at Ohio State. He's not a big, durable back that can absorb a heavy workload on the NFL level the way Ezekiel Elliott could and a Leonard Fournette can. I don't believe that Saquon Barkley is that guy.
All right, Stephen A. Well, thank you for letting me get on there.
No problem. Take it easy. JP, I knew you'd call back. You're live with your boy, Stephen A. What's up, buddy? How you doing? JP, are you there? JP? Call me back when you get a clear signal, my man. I can't hear you. Brandon, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Brandon.
Peace and blessings, my brother.
Thank you.
Long time listener. I'm a big fan of yours. You brighten up my day when you go off on rant. But I got a quick question.
Sure.
I agree with you about the Knicks being on prime time. You know, me being a native New Yorker, I just don't want to see that. That's going to waste my time. But my other question was, do you think an NFL quarterback will take free agency the way that the NBA does, even though it's not structured the same? I know it's all about the guaranteed money.
Do I think an NFL quarterback would do what?
Like in free agency in the NBA, would you think a quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers, for instance, he came out, he blasted the wide receivers. Green Bay has basically stuck him the last few seasons. And would you think if he has that stature, would you think he will use that stature or somebody after him and say, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else and to win Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers don't want to do that. He says that he wants to stay in Green Bay. I can tell you that I hope he leaves. I don't think the Green Bay Packers deserve him. I think their fans deserve him. I don't think the organization deserves him. I don't think they appreciate Aaron Rodgers nearly as much as they should. And let me be very, very clear about something. And I'm glad you asked that question, Brandon, because I want you to understand something, okay? Stars are different. When you are a high-end producer of extreme value, you know how some organizations will have the mentality shut up and play? Just like in our business, just shut up and do your job and go home. It shouldn't work that way with talent. It shouldn't work that way with star talent. You know why? Because star talent is never asked to just do their job. They're always asked to do more, because the more they do, the more they contribute to the bottom line of the franchise or the company they represent. So it should never be just shut up and do your job and that's it, because you're never left alone to just do your job. Aaron Rodgers has never been asked just to be the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. As his greatness elevated and shined, he was constantly asked to do more with less, because Green Bay didn't give him the tools necessary to do but so much. He would have to do it himself or accept mediocrity.
Right.
And that's not right. And so if you know that that's what you're asking of him, and that the load that he's ordained to carry is heavier than most, then treat him like it and treat him like the significant individual he is. I feel that same way in our business. Everybody ain't the same. Everybody ain't Stephen A. Everybody ain't Michael K. Everybody ain't John Ireland. Everybody ain't a lot of other guys. And if you have people that are high-end producers and they bring something to the table that most people wouldn't, I don't think we should be treated the same. And I'm not getting into our business because there's nothing that I'm talking about as it pertains to us. There's nothing happening. I'm just speaking hypothetically. The fact of the matter is that those who are required to do more, who are asked a lot more of than a typical performer, should be treated accordingly. The problem that we have in this country right now is everybody trying to be equal. We're trying to have like this socialist mentality. Damn it, I'm a capitalist, and I'm proud of it. Everybody don't deserve to be treated the same. Now, that doesn't mean somebody else deserves to be treated like garbage. You know, like, for example, are you still there, Brandon?
No, I'm here. I'm with you.
Do you remember this story? Do you remember this story last night about the WNBA and how the team from Vegas traveled to D.C. and it took them like 25 hours to get there because of all the delays. So because of that, they couldn't sleep in a bed, and as a result, because they couldn't sleep in a bed, and because, you know what, they got there like 4:00 the next afternoon, 4 hours before game time, when they were able to check into their hotel. They didn't play the game. And so it was news all over the place. They're not treated the same as men because, you know what, ultimately the NBA said ain't no rescheduling. You got to forfeit the game, or, you know, the league office for the WNBA, whatever. Guess what? I have no problem with the league's decision. Now, I know a lot of people out there is going to sit up there and go talk about, Brandon, it was unfair. They forfeited the game. They said we ain't playing. Okay, then you take the loss. You told the fans, for good reason, I might add, but you told the fans, we ain't playing. We've been traveling too much. Too many flights got delayed. We don't have chartered jets. We have to fly commercial. That's because you don't generate the billions of dollars that the NBA or the NFL makes. Now, I understand that you do have a legitimate beef if you are those lovely ladies from the WNBA. But the flip side to it is that we're in a capitalistic nation. And the fact of the matter is, chartered flights ain't free. So what the NBA can afford, the WNBA cannot afford. And if they can't afford it, and you know you got to fly commercial, you have to take worst case scenario into consideration and act accordingly. Now, the NBA and the WNBA, to me, should have canceled the game. That's fine. But the fact that they didn't, that means you got a job to do. And if you got to go out there and stink up the joint, then go out there and stink up the joint. Hell, the Washington Mystics might have stunk up the joint. You might have beat them anyway. But you elected not to play. You can't then turn around and say, you were mistreated. Can't do that. You feel me, Brandon?
That's true. I feel you, man. I feel you, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man.
Hey, you have a good day.
You do the same. It's just the truth. I'm not being misogynistic here or playing gender favorites or anything like that. But if you know what the rules are, you know you fly commercial. The flights got delayed and you didn't make it, then you didn't make it. But to make it to the city 4 hours before the game and not play because of travel and lack of sleep, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Incredible inconvenience. Wish it didn't happen to you. Wish that the WNBA was generating enough money to fly chartered flights. All of those things are true. In complete support of it. But you forfeited the game. And if you elected to forfeit the game, you take the L. Period. You don't sit up there and say we're not playing. And you think you get to make the call as to whether or not you should deserve credit for it or not. That's not how it works. And even though it's not right, with the NBA, there is a discrepancy. The NBA just signed a $24 billion contract with ABC and TNT. What money is the WNBA generating? That would explain why you're not flying charter jets. And I'm going to put a challenge to the women out there because not enough people say it, but damn it, I'm going to. Women support the NBA. Women support college football. Women support the NFL. These are male sports. Women support them all the time. There's no way on earth that the money generated for these sports could be generated if it were not for the support of women and families, not just the men. So if that's the reality, where's the support for the WNBA? Because, ladies, I got news for you. If women supported the women's NBA, maybe they would be flying chartered jets. I'm just saying. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. 888-SAY-ESPN. That is the number to call into the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio.
Craving even more of Stephen A?
Him of all people.
For around-the-clock access to the man?
I'm Stephen A.
You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Stephen A. Smith and on Facebook at Stephen A.
Three, two, one. Listen all day tomorrow for a chance to win a LeBron James Lakers jersey. The King plays here. ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app. When you hear the King on Fridays in August, be caller number 23 and you win the jersey of the King. Brand new LeBron jerseys every Friday this August. Fridays with the King during the summer of LeBron from ESPN LA 710. Listen next hour during my show for a chance to win a LeBron James Lakers jersey. The King plays here. ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN app. Every Friday in the 11 a.m. hour during my show, you can win a LeBron James Lakers jersey. Fridays with the King. Listen in the 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. hours for your chance to win a LeBron James Lakers jersey.
I'm a squeaky toy, and I've got one job, getting chomped on by this little ankle sniffer. So pardon me for feeling inept compared to Geico, who does so much more. Like while I'm getting slobbered on, Geico is creating cool technology like their mobile app, which lets people pay their bills or file a claim. Plus, Geico is the fastest growing auto insurer for the last 10 years. Is it too much for me to ask for one more feature? Fast and friendly claim service like Geico, maybe? Oh, great. I'm getting buried again.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm sorry. I just don't think everything requires the level of sensitivity that everybody wants you to have. I really, really don't. I mean, I stand by what I say. in terms of this WNBA, saying that Las Vegas Aces forfeited their game against the Washington Mystics. One sent a statement. WNBA announced today that the Las Vegas Aces have forfeited Friday's game against the Washington Mystics at Capital One Arena because the Aces failed to appear for the game. They failed to appear. Bill Lambier, the coach, my buddy, Bill Lambier, coach for the Las Vegas team, said, our entire organization has the utmost respect for the very difficult decision our players made, and we stand with them. We are disappointed with the league's decision, but our focus is now on winning as many games as we can and our drive for our first playoff appearances. Because by forfeiting the game, the Aces are now 2.5 games out of the final playoff spot after losing to the Atlanta Dream on Tuesday. Washington Mystics players were forced to go out, sign autographs for the fans, obviously had to refund money and all of that other stuff. That's what they said. 25 hours of traveling, stuck in the airport with 7-hour layovers. I get all of that. But the WNBA delayed the game an hour. You arrived to your hotel 4 hours before the game. Take a quick cat nap or something. You're not going to be in the best of shape or what have you. I get it. I understand it. But that's what comes with it sometimes. That's what comes with it sometimes. You don't believe me? You think I'm being a little bit extreme? I'm overreacting? Listen to the statement. I'm trying to scroll up here. From Washington Mystics head coach Mike Thibault. Thibault. I think that's how you pronounce his names. He said, quote, oh, damn it. My computer went out for a second. I apologize. But he spoke on the issue. He's not hiding from it. He's not ducking it. And the reality of the situation is we all saw what happened. You decided to forfeit a game. There is no way around that. You made that call. And you got to own it. And make up for it by winning the rest of your games. But the Washington Mystics head coach said, quote, every team I've been around in the WNBA or the NBA or the old CBA goes through this, he said. College teams go through it. And you have an obligation to the fans who paid money to come watch you play. If you're there and in the city and can play, you should show up and play. That's according to the Washington Mystics coach. Now, these players are talking about their health and health concerns and all of that other stuff. Okay, fine. You have a right to make the decision. You forfeit the game then. It's not that complicated to me. I support the WNBA's decision. I support the WNBA's decision. You were in the city 4 hours before tip-off. You could have got over to the arena and played. You would have been sluggish. Hell, Washington Mystics might have looked like straight garbage that night. You don't know what luck could have came your way. You don't know what adrenaline you could have fed off of and stole a victory. You could have done a lot of things. But instead, you elected not to show up. By the way, when's the last time you were at the game or concert? Go to vividseats.com/ESPN today for your exclusive discount offer. Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Back to the phones we go at 888-SAY-ESPN. Let's go to Frank. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
What's good, Stephen A?
Talk
All
to
right.
me.
Now, I think we both know that the Knicks will have their fair share of blowouts this year. But listen to me and think about this. Joakim Noah comes back healthy. Ron Baker, scrappy as hell, comes back healthy. Kevin Knox blows everyone out of the water like
Hold on. What was the first name you said come back healthy?
Joakim Noah. Because guess what? And then Mitchell Robinson's going to come back. They're going to play great side by side. And guess what? You know what? They stick around for a little bit. Maybe they can stay in the 7th to 8th spot.
Really?
If we're around.
Hey, Frank, tell the truth. You said that to make me laugh, didn't you? Tell the truth.
Porzingis comes back mid-season.
No, Frank. Answer the question. You said that to make me laugh, didn't you? Didn't you?
Hell no. That's our man.
So let me get this straight. With Kristaps Porzingis being injured, all right, with the NBA, we ain't talking about the WNBA, all right? We ain't talking about the CBA now. We talking about the NBA. You're telling me that you said, but look at it this way. And the first two names you bring up is Joakim Noah and Ron Baker?
Two legends. And you know, and I know, these two guys, we got one scrappy, we got one who dominates the board. He's going to get healthy. He's going to play great next to Mr. Robinson. Porzingis is going to come back midseason. We're going to be in like the 7-8 spot. He's going to take us to the top, and we're going to be contenders. You just wait and see. Goodbye, Stephen A. Have a good day.
Frank, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate you giving me that laugh. All the stuff that's going on. We talk about a league where LeBron's in it. Russell Westbrook's in it. Paul George is in it. LeBron James is in it. Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson is in it. Kawhi Leonard is in it. Kyrie Irving is in it. And injured Porzingis will be back in it. And this man, Frank, just called up to give me Joakim Noah, an old Joakim Noah. Because God bless him, because when he was younger and healthy, he was a hell of a defensive player and a rebounder. But injured and old Joakim Noah and Ron Baker. Mike in Philadelphia. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Mike?
Wow. How do I fall? I mean, my heart hurts, man. I feel bad for that dude. You left him off the stage, bro.
I can't believe it. I mean, of all the names he would bring up, Mike, he didn't even bring up Robert Covington or somebody. He brought up Joakim Noah and Ron Baker.
God, Stephen A., I sure sit here and thought, I hope he doesn't answer my call next. I don't know how to follow that up.
Go ahead, man. I'm gonna try to stop laughing, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to say, I agree with you about the NFL. They need to, present a unified front. But, the problem is, have we lost the original message through the noise?
Yeah, we have.
I think it's the toughest part. I mean, the bottom line, these guys, if they put up a unified front, what's going to happen is the stars are going to say, hey, I'm going to sit, I'll sit. You don't have to stand or sit, it doesn't matter, but I'll stick up for my comrades, I'll stick up for my teammates.
Right.
And that hurts the bottom line for these owners, which is what they care about.
Well, I just think that somehow, some way, the Players Association, along with the players in concert with the owners and the commissioner, all need to get on the same page and be about the business of protecting the brand and the shield. Somehow, some way, get on the same page in the event that the president decides to attack you this year, because we know we haven't heard the last from him about the NFL, Mike. We know that. If you can somehow get on the same page where you can have a universal response to him, whatever that response may be, even if it's a non-response, my point is that's fine. But what you don't do is think that you get to ignore him and that's not going to have any kind of collateral damage, because I think that's fool's gold.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm wondering, and that's why I want to pick your brain. I'm wondering, I think we've lost the message, the original message that Cap was trying to provide about social injustice.
Yeah.
We've lost it. It's gone from social injustice to now how can we tell the president that he can't tell the NFL what to do.
Yeah, well, you're right, but I think that people are busy. Even though the president hijacked the issue I blame the players, because collectively, first of all, Colin Kaepernick never had a plan. We appreciate the kind of things he brought attention to, but he never had a plan. And as a result, combined with the fact that you never heard from him, the players just haphazardly went about the business of trying to take it to another level. And so the message got a bit convoluted, and I think they have nobody to blame but themselves for that.
Right. So in that case, what they need to do in the NFL, just like you said, they unify and they say, hey, this is the message. The message is this, and we are doing this, not to debunk the president or anything, just like you said. He's the president of the United States. You ain't gonna go. What are you gonna go up against him? I mean, there's countries that go up against him that can't defeat him.
How about it?
You think the NFLPA is going to defeat him?
Good point.
So these guys need to say, listen, we need to unify, and this is the message we are sending. It's not about the president. We need to get back to the original thing that Colin Kaepernick was doing.
I got you. And I'll tell you something else along the way. Okay. I will tell you this. One of the things that we have to be careful about. Are you ready for what I'm about to say here, Mike?
I'm always ready for what you got to say, brother.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to let the president off the hook by any stretch of the imagination. But to some degree, with all the problems that we've got going on around this world, we got to be a bit more patriotic. We got to stop thinking about him and start thinking about what's best for this nation. We got to adopt that. We got to adopt more of that mentality.
Listen, we've come a long way. We're not there yet. We're not there, but we've come a long way. We have come a long way.
We got to start thinking. We got to start thinking about what's best for the nation a bit more. We really, really do, because we got some problems, and we got some enemies from other places. We don't need to be butting heads with ourselves all the damn time. But that message could very well be relayed to the president just as much as to the rest of us. Appreciate the call, Mike. Thanks so much. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. I'm trying to have a serious conversation, but ladies and gentlemen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm still laughing at the dude, Frank, that brought up. He started talking about the NBA. We talking about the NBA, y'all. We ain't talking about the WNBA. We ain't talking about the CBA. We ain't talking about college. We talking about the NBA, where LeBron plays and Russell Westbrook plays and everybody else. And this brother called up on my show to say, watch the Knicks when Joakim Noah and Ron Baker. I can't get over that. I can't get over that somebody had the nerve. And he was serious too, y'all. You saw how he hung up with attitude? Back with your calls to end the show in a minute.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Ray, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Talk to me, big baby.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Talk to me. What's up? You only got a couple of minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You know, I've been listening to you from time to time, and I just so happened to drop in today. You know, you're making light of the young man who plays professional baseball with a concussion. What gives you the right to make light of a situation like that?
No, I did not make light of him having a concussion. I made light of him reacting to a facetious criticism on the part of one of my colleagues. That's a difference. I did not make light of a concussion. I would never make light of a concussion. I was saying that you're in the big leagues. He didn't say you were faking your injury or anything like that. Why are you overreacting to it? That's what I was getting on him about, not about the concussion.
Michael K., just because he's been on the airways over, safe to say, over 18 plus years at that, that's why he apologized. That's why he apologized. If he didn't feel that way, then why did he apologize?
Because of the way it was interpreted.
Interpreted it that way. That's why he apologized. Well, let me move on.
He apologized because of the way it was interpreted.
You should have actually more or less adhere to that and not make light of it. That's why he apologized.
I disagree with you. I think you're wrong. We sit on here. We're in the media. Sure. His job is as a talk radio host. And the fact of the matter is, if he said the man was faking his injury or something along those lines, he would have been wrong. He did not say that. So to me, he should not have apologized because he didn't say what Clint Frazier thought he was saying.
You have your opinion on that. Now,
thank you.
When we talk about the 45th president, I'm not even going to call him out by name. Don't get to the point where you got to cow down to this 45th president. Please don't do that.
Well, I'm not doing that. A matter of fact, everything that I've said has been counter to that. And if you listen to my show more often, you would know that. I haven't counted out. And hold on, wait a minute. You called my show, damn it. I'll do the talking. Let me be very, very clear. I bow down to nobody but God. Nobody. I say what I mean what I say. And just because my opinion differs from yours, potentially, because I don't think it does on this issue, wouldn't mean I'd be kowtowing to him or bowing down to him. It's some things that I emphatically disagree with him about, which I have stated. Other things, not so much.
Number 4, when your callers such as myself call in, I notice how you pick and choose. If we give you some sort of compliment on the front end, you say,
stop right there. Goodbye. First of all, I'm running out of time. Secondly, I don't pick callers. I read the name on the board, and I don't know who the caller is or what they're going to say. So automatically, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I will tell you this. You can call back tomorrow when I got more time to get into you. Because I don't have it right now. I got to go. Talk to y'all in 22 hours. Peace and love.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.